Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today is kind of an unexpected one. Somebody that I follow through the years has posted another video. Seems like he's starting a 2025 thing. It's trending out different videos. His name is also David. He travels around Southeast Asia. He's done the Muay Thai stuff like I have. He's been around Vietnam here and there. And he's gradually recorded his experiences throughout the times. And he's done a lot of other stuff. But today he's posted a video that's talking about the pitfalls of being a teacher in Vietnam. And we're going to see what David's saying about the traps of becoming a foreign teacher in Vietnam and what to look out for, what to expect, and how you should prepare for getting your TEFL with the link below, getting your degrees and everything, and coming out to Vietnam and becoming a foreign English teacher. So with that being said, guys, let's click over to it. Let's get into his video on the teacher trap, going abroad and getting stuck as an ESL teacher.
Teacher Trap, teaching English, pros and cons. Let's get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is David. So I want to talk about the teacher trap. And this is my own terminology for a phenomenon I've seen out here in Asia about people coming abroad and then kind of getting stuck out here in a low paid teaching position. So first off, the thing I want to explain is that as an ESL teacher, there's different tiers of teaching English abroad, which I think most people don't realize. You have your top tier international schools, and that is a proper career. In order to land a position there, you have to have a bachelor's and master's degree in education. And again, it's a proper career, and you're paid a Western salary, and you get to live abroad.
Now, this is a very important part. He hits it right away. International school is the dream job for any teacher coming out here to live long term. It gives you Western pay. You make between like $2,000 to $5,000 a month. It's insane. I used to work at a couple of them, and the amount of money some of these teachers made is pretty high. Now, something to keep in mind though is international schools typically don't hire foreigners for English. So if you do get a job at an international school, you're going to be teaching based off what your degree is. So I have an engineering and a business degree. My education, or at least what I was teaching, was for JavaScript programming and React development. When it came to the actual English teachers at both international schools, it was Filipino teachers. So when it comes to English, you're going to have that high degree, and you're going to have a skill. Thinking you're going to need international school and be an English teacher is a very hard thing to do because we as foreigners are typically not the ones they're going after for this because we don't have English literature degrees and certifications. You have to be a certified teacher to work in an international school for the most part. So if you have a degree in gender studies or business management or something like that, you're not going to get hired by the International School of America or the British Council to be an English teacher. You don't meet the requirements.
Talking about is taking a low paid teaching position either at a government school or some type of private after school business. Now, I highly recommend coming abroad to teach English, but I do recommend it for 1 to 2 years if you're going to be taking a low paid position either at a government school or some type of like after school center. Primarily because of the financial implications that you'll experience by staying in a low paid teaching position like that for too long, as well as having your work experience be completely unrelated from your degree.
Now, this is something I've talked about on the live streams a few times when I'm asked, like, David, when are you going back to America? Yada, yada, yada. The problem is I've been in Vietnam for 10 to 12 years. My CV is completely useless anymore. I cannot go to a job and get an engineering job. I cannot be a business manager. I cannot be a financial advisor anymore in America because my CV has 12 years of nothing. And putting down English teaching, backpacking, vlogging, all this stuff is not get me past everybody else that's just finished university or has 5 to 6 years experience in the field. 1 or 2 years is typically the maximum you should really be doing English teaching. This is why in my members group, I do a video covering how to write a 3-year plan. So when you do come out here to Southeast Asia and start working as a teacher, you can start building to that plan because you should not be teaching English for 3, 5, 10 years. It is a supplement of money. It's not a career. There's going to be a point when you leave. You can't be a teacher forever. Keep that in mind. These are short-term positions.
I mentioned that with international schools, you need a bachelor's and master's degree in education, but with like a government school here in Thailand, you just need a degree in anything. You can have a degree in mechanical engineering and come out here and be an English teacher. And while it's great for 1 or 2 years, that's why I talk about the teacher trap, because if you're someone like that and you stay out here for 5 years and you've been teaching English for 5, 6, 7 years and your degrees in engineering or accounting or finance, that's what I mean by you're getting kind of stuck. You're kind of trapped here because how are you going to go back to your home country? Because your work experience is complete.
This is something I talk about so much in the live streams and in the group. It's very easy to go from being 27 and exploring the world to 35 and still doing the same thing. just in an older body with less options now. This is the thing. If you left your home country 5, 6, 7 years ago, and you had this mindset of I'm going to travel the world, that's perfectly fine. But if you go back home after 5, 10, 12 years, it's going to be very hard to get a job. And I use myself as an example because I'm not going to be going back looking for a job like that. I've set my plans and my objectives, and I'm where I need to be. I want to say majority of people I meet come out here without a plan. Make a plan. If you stay out here teaching forever, you will put yourself into a corner you will not be able to dig out.
What ends up happening is that your ideal self and your real self become two completely different things, because a cultural thing out here that you'll find is that you'll meet a lot of people who are English teachers, but they're not proud to be English teachers. They're English teachers, but they want to be doing something else. And so my whole thing is like, just come out here for 1 or 2 years and have a plan. So is teaching English abroad actually worth it? And I would say yes, absolutely. It will change your life. I know it changed my life, but I do want to emphasize 1 to 2 years, probably more towards the 2 year mark, simply because you're going to have so much fun being abroad. There's a reason why people live in Vietnam, Thailand, Korea, Japan, and so forth, because it's fun. But the reason why I want to emphasize 1 to 2 years is just because of the teacher trap. If you have a degree in finance, accounting, engineering, and you're an English teacher out here, you're going to get stuck over time because it's going to become really difficult for you to move back to your country and get a proper paid position in whatever career field you're in, because your work experience is going to be a bunch of English teaching for multiple years. So that's why 1 or 2 years is okay, but then have a plan. So that plan could be like, hey, you come abroad, you enjoy teaching English, and then you decide to go back to your home country and get a master's degree in education and come back out here and land a job at an international school. That's a great plan. Or you move into some type of like educational startup or
I don't mean to cut him off on that, but that's a good statement. This is something I saw a lot in Thailand, where a lot of Americans and Canadians that were going to Thailand, being teachers, doing intern positions with a bachelor's degree as English teachers, and working on their master's degree in a different discipline because they wanted to live in Thailand long term and work in an international school, teaching something they enjoyed. The last guy that I met, he was a finance teacher, and his goal was to live in Thailand, get married, pretty much retire out here, but he wanted to be a finance teacher. So he's back in America as of right now, finishing up his master's degree in finance after a year in Thailand being an English teacher, kind of getting that experience for his degree, which helped him with his credits. So that's not an abnormal thing to happen. I've seen it more in Thailand than I've seen in Vietnam. Most people in Vietnam are typically just backpackers and short-term teachers.
educational business as well. Or perhaps your plan is to use teaching English abroad to do something similar to as to what I did, and to build an online business so you can make a full-time income and live abroad on your terms. So let me talk about the last option a little bit more, because it's kind of obvious that you can get a low paid teaching position with a bachelor's degree here in Thailand and make 33,000 baht, which is about $900. That's good enough to cover your living expenses on a month to month basis if you're outside of Bangkok.
Always said Thailand is a better spot to live if you already have money because Thailand is so cheap to live in. When it comes to Vietnam, though, the pay is higher, but you're sacrificing living experience. You're dealing with a lot more pollution, chaos, pretty much no order when it comes to like living in the countryside or the main city areas. When you're working in Thailand, pretty much anywhere in Thailand, if you have a full-time job for most teachers in the first 1 to 3 years, you're looking between $700 to $1,100 a month USD. When you're in Vietnam, as of right now, you are looking between $1,100 to $1,500 a month. But what makes the decision a little tricky, and when we're talking about this, is Vietnam, you're dealing with pollution, chaos, noise, where Thailand is a lot quieter. It's a little more in order. So if you already have money, Thailand is an amazing country. Look at these views. This is like normal. In Vietnam, Vung Tau, Hai Phong Beach, this whole beach would be covered in trash. Do keep that in mind. Salary pays are extremely low in Thailand, but they offer longevity to stay there. Vietnam's pay is much higher, but it's a very life draining, stressful place to live over time.
Fine position for 1 or 2 years, then maybe you go back to your home country and get a master's degree in education, then come back out to Thailand and get a job at an international school. That's totally fine. But what if you want to build an online business? So I think going abroad for that purpose as well is really risky, but you can totally do it because I did it and other people have done it. So for example, popular travel YouTuber Drew Binsky got his start abroad, and during that time is how he built his blog and his Snapchat channel, and then eventually that transitioned into YouTube and Facebook. Alex Stevenson of ninjateacher.com got his start as an English teacher abroad as well. And then eventually
I know during the live streams, a lot of people give this guy hell. Like they just give him a lot of criticism, and that's perfectly fine. Everyone's open to their own, but we have to show respect where respect is due. Alex came out here as a teacher, a backpacker, and he turned himself into someone that's out here helping other people come out here, other foreigners, and he built a business off it. What's this impressive? Because understand he's a South African in Vietnam starting a business. Myself, being an American, starting businesses in a foreign country like Vietnam. So there is a possibility that you could take yourself from being a teacher or coming out here and actually opening stuff.
Eventually moved to Vietnam to start Ninja Teacher, his own teaching abroad company. And I also did the same sort of thing because I got my start teaching English abroad at an elementary school for a year, then a year at a high school, then a year at a university. And then by that time, what I was doing online was making enough to fully support myself. And then I started teaching online for a little bit, sort of as my like safe rent money that I could rely on as I was making money from other income sources. It wasn't easy, but I do want to bring it up because it is a possibility, but you do need to have a plan. You need to have a clear focus because when I came abroad to teach English, I just viewed it as a stopgap. I was like, all right, I'm going to figure out how to be self employed. And then I met a Thai girl who was an exchange student in Connecticut who eventually became my girlfriend. Then she went back to Thailand. And that kind of put the seed in my head where it's like, oh, I can go to Thailand and be an English teacher? I had no idea. So that's how I ended up in Thailand. Once I hit Thailand, I knew that I wanted to be self employed because after working at PricewaterhouseCoopers and doing those crazy hours, I knew that I wanted to be in control of my life in a way that was just not possible having a job. And so I came to Thailand and that was my focus. And so that's personally how I ended up in Thailand. I just got my start as an English teacher and I had laser focus on my end goal, which was to build a sustainable online income. Okay, everyone, so I'll just leave it there. So I do recommend teaching abroad for, again, 1 to 2 years. Just make sure you have a plan, especially if you're taking a low paid teaching position, just so you don't get stuck in the teacher trap because going abroad is so much fun. And you'll also develop a lot of useful soft skills like how to manage a classroom, how to deal with disputes and disagreements, as well as how to get better at public speaking because you are going to be doing a lot of public speaking as an ESL teacher, as well as a skill set for just how to go abroad and make a life abroad. How do apartments work? How do bank accounts work? How do visas work? How do flights work? Credit card points, all these little details. You're just kind of jumping into the deep end and you'll figure things out really quick. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. My name is
That's a real good breakdown of it, and it really shows what you need to do as an expat coming out here. And he's absolutely right. It's great to come out here for like 2 or 3 years, have this idea of, I'm going to be a teacher. Great, let's teach English. And you do learn a lot of good skills. When you come out here as a teacher, you have to walk in classrooms with 45, 50 kids. Sometimes your parents are in the back. Sometimes you got teachers and staff. You got demo lessons. You're being put in a position where it sounds scary as I tell this to you, but it builds confidence. And that's something I did build. So in short, his video is absolutely right. When you come out here, have a plan. Don't assume that you're going to be a teacher forever. It doesn't last forever. I always recommend having a TEFL. I always link it below to discount it so you guys can have it. It's an amazing insurance card to have. So if you do run into trouble with money or something, you can at least get a job real quick. That TEFL will always get your foot in any door when it comes to English teaching. And if you are already out here, you're working, you're feeling that grind, you're feeling that like dead moment, like burnt out, definitely check out the member section. Join below. Check out the video on how to write the perfect CVs, how to write cover sheets to get a better job. Maybe the solution is just finding a better job and a better position. If that's not it, check out the 3-year plan video on how to write a plan so you can go from what you are today and how you can improve your life over the next couple of years so you're not stuck as a teacher. Because I'm telling you, personal experience, teaching past 2 or 3 years is one of the most stressful, life draining things that you could probably do because it just burns you out. With that being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again.